Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Pallet of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the latest issue of Warhammer 40k Imperium magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, drop us a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys and it goes a massive way to helping out the channel too. Now, this week, we're on issue 83 of Imperium magazine, and we have our third and final Adeptus Sororitas Paragon Warsuit. Now, I'm disappointed to see them go because I have really enjoyed the Paragon Warsuits. I think they're super cool. They look pretty interesting, they look pretty gnarly, and they have different build options as well, which is always very nice for any good old Adeptus, any unit within the 41st Millennium. In all honesty, having build options is always very good fun. So, pretty cool. Shame to see them go because they are really good, and yeah, I like the Adeptus Sororitas, what can I say? Anyway, into this week's issue, we are greeted first off by our continuation in the latest Warzone, and in the subsectors of Obelisk and Lyrak. Phase 4. So, the ritual destruction of Saint Bartoloph's throne saw a gigantic saw billow into being within the Metallica system. This rotting scar increased in size until it was visible from light years away, and was dubbed the Saw by the Imperium. Entropic plague energies were vomited from within, battering Munis Ferrum and unleashing a tide of demons upon the planet. Waves of heretic vessels burst forth from the Saw to besiege the asteroid fortress of Ferrovilgum. The asteroid fortress which played host to the system's astropathic relay. Skitarii and Titan legions fought bravely to defend the relay as long as they could, suffering terrible casualties in the process. Their carefully orchestrated hit-and-run strikes took a toll upon the heretic invaders. So obviously, within pretty much every war zone in the 41st Millennium, there is a lot of back and forth. So there is some good ground gained by whichever force is invading. So for instance, the heretic Astrates, the powers of chaos, forcing their way into the Metallica system, do gain a lot of ground and they do a lot of damage to certain things, and then they get fought back. So they encounter very heavy resistance from the Imperium, whether it's the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Adeptus Sororitas, or any of the Space Marine legions or the Titan legions or anything like that. They get a lot of pushback from them, and yeah, it's not always one-sided, so pretty good stuff, but quite enjoyable as well at exactly the same time. So there are quite a few different forces in play throughout all of it. We get this little map as well showing us what's going on, who's coming in from where, and much more. And it's a bit more lore, history and information, so if you like following the war zones, the different battles, and how the progression of Warhammer 40k goes on, this is up your alley. But yeah, not too bad. Then we move on, we get more information for the Eldari and their mythology. So obviously the history of the Eldari civilization stretches back into the distant past. It has become ever more difficult for the outsider to tell myth and legend from history. And it's not too bad, it's pretty cool. So a little bit of difference obviously for the good old space elves. It is what it is with them. So obviously with the Eldari as well, they do utilise the avatar of Cain, which is a pretty damn cool fiery monstrosity who loves to slaughter and utilises the sword of Cain as well, which obviously it features within Warhammer Old World and within the Mortal Realms. So Cain has been around for a very long time within all these stories and is a god of all elves, which is whether they're space elves, normal elves or whatever. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. Now we move on, we have a story as well for our Eldari fans. So, the Serpent Strikes. The hunting plains of the maiden world Monthard have long been defended by the warriors of Craftworld Same-Han. Human interlopers have trespassed upon this pristine, fertile place. If they will not leave willingly, they must be exterminated. So, Samehan, the Eldari of Samehan, are wider by nature than many of their kin. Wilder by nature than many of their kin. Considered savage by other Assyrian, the people of Samehan are divided into tribal kin bands, and they are renowned as daring and highly skilled riders and pilots, utilising formations of swift jet bikes and skimmers to outflank and destroy their foes. So, if, I don't know, you want to go into Eldari, you could always go with Samehan as your kind of strike if you want to utilise them as a more kind of vehicle based, so using a lot of the jet bikes and stuff like that would work very, very nicely with them, and they can be quite good fun. Obviously the story goes on for quite a bit. I'm not going to read any of it because I haven't got around to reading it for myself, so trying to talk as I'm reading it will be a pain in the backside, but it's pretty cool, pitting the forces of the Imperium and our Space Marines up against the Eldari is always quite fun to read, a little bit different, and you know, both of them are essentially a force of good in their own way, whether they're fighting for humans or fighting for themselves. They work very nicely. So, you know, they're not chaos at the end of the day. It is what it is. Moving on, though, we get our how to build guide. So, obviously, last week there is the additional sword that you can utilise with this version of the Mini. This version of the Mini has a little bit where the hand kind of connects instead of it just being the fingers and the thumb around that hilt, to kind of separate and to make your Paragon Warsuit superior, so the leader of your troop of 3 Paragon Warsuits. The other sword from last week is more intricate and has kind of all these lovely bits of kind of like inlay and stuff like that, and kind of like a text in there, which looks really, really nice. And I must admit, I prefer it over the regular sword. However, because I'm getting extra, I will be doing both because they both work very, very nicely. But yeah, really, really cool stuff. So, a little bit more with them. With your Paragon Warsuit Superior as well, there is the extra little bit as well, so you do have that extra part there with the candles on, to kind of make her stand out a little bit better over your other Paragon Warsuits, which works very, very nicely. But really, really cool stuff, and I'm genuinely looking forward to getting building with this one because I really enjoyed the others. So, yeah, really, really cool stuff, and much more enjoyable than some minis that we've had recently over the course of this magazine run. Anyway, you got your how to paint guide. It's up to you if you're following the same paint system. It's not a bad paint guide. It does work quite nicely. It is just entirely up to you if you follow this guide. I personally, I haven't, because I want mine to look a bit more unique and not have the generic colour of Adeptus Sororitas, because I just feel like it needs something different and they need to stand out. As I've built up a little bit of an army for Adeptus Sororitas, I want them to stand on their own 2 feet and not look like every other good old Adeptus Sororitas army, in all honesty. But really, really cool stuff anyway. So I genuinely like both paint schemes. I do like that paint scheme, it's just not for me personally. There's never anything wrong with it though. If you're following it quite nicely, you can get some really, really nice looking bits and pieces out of there, especially with having the black and red candles, which looks really nice. I must admit, I genuinely like that. I think it looks pretty cool, and it works very, very well. And when it's all done, you'll have another Adeptus Sororitas Mini looking something similar to that, which looks pretty damn cool. It looks fantastic, it looks nice. Yeah, can't really say enough about it because it looks damn good. But yeah, really good stuff. Then we move on, we continue with our campaign, when I can learn to speak, and obviously going through all these different sectors into this last 10 issues, and obviously it will end at issue 90, and we have some pretty cool bits and pieces. So obviously utilising our 4 battle mats, we can use our 75 power and have a pretty cool bit, and the idea is to have it set up so you have like essentially a shrine area within your battle mat, and it's all to do with kind of controlling the objective markers around the shrine and protecting it at all costs, which will be quite good fun and not too bad at the same time. Moving on now, next week we have issue 84, which is the disappointment issue in my opinion. It's Askitari Marshall. Yeah, we find out more Eldari as well, which I must admit I'm getting tired of reading about them, but they are really kind of cool at the same time. Issue 85 is our Hexmark Destroyer, our penultimate Necron unit. So we have one more after that one, which is a really cool one. We also get more information about Eldari and the Tyranid invasion. Not too bad. So the last 10 issues are going good. Obviously there's a lot of story, a lot of lore, a lot of history, and a lot more to kind of detail to be divulged, which you get generally from all the additional supplements and supplemental books that you get from each edition of a game. Obviously with Warhammer 40k there is a new edition on its way, which looks like the Tyranids are coming back to it and going to be given a little bit of love from GW. Space Marines obviously getting a bit more love, including the return of Terminators, which are kind of bigger, bulkier Space Marine units, which are quite heavy duty power suits, which look really cool. And I'm guessing there will be a lot more to come from them as well as more units overall. So we have a lot to look forward to in the world of, well, the universe of Warhammer 40k, should I say. And yeah, I will try to stick with it as and where I can. But otherwise, we've had some really good fun with this magazine's run. It's not been too bad. Obviously, if you're into your Warhammer magazines, Stormbringer magazine is out now as well. I'll do videos on that as well, so by all means check them out, find out a bit more about Immortal Realms and the Age of Sigmar. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye now.